Welcome gamers to Breachway. Breachway actually releases in just a couple of days' time, so look out for it. It's sort of like, it feels like FTL in a lot of ways. It's card driven, it's quite replayable, and it's one of these games that's easy to play, difficult to master. I'll just go through sort of how to play it. So we'll play it for, I'm not sure how long, maybe up to an hour, and just get into it. So the tutorial takes about half an hour to play out, I guess, and it is worth doing because it introduces each of the concepts mission by mission, essentially. So it's a nice way to get introduced to the game. I won't be playing the tutorial. You've got things, for example, like little tips like traveling on main nodes connected by blue lines does not consume fuel, but also allows forward movement. So, but only allows forward movement. I'll explain what that is when we get into it, because that is fairly important. There's some interesting aspects about it. Let's just go to a new run. Now, when we go to a new run, it says ongoing progress will be lost. Yeah, that's okay. We'll just go and click on OK and through here. It will now say, actually, this is a new run here. So I must remember that I've actually done the tutorial. When you finish the tutorial, you get to this start where you have different ships that you can then sort of work through that have got different loadouts in this instance in through here. I'll try to explain enough about each screen so I'll be doing a bit of a deep dive, I guess, into this one through here. So the ship that we're looking at through here is the Arbalist, okay, and we can accept this one in through here. A well-rounded ship that strikes a balance between offense and defense. It boasts a pulse laser back in through here. Okay, and that performs best in multi-attack bursts, destroying enemy equipment with ease. So you'll notice that when I hovered over the laser, we then actually end up with a series of different cards, essentially. That's what they are. These are attack cards. And we've got two laser pulse cards that come into play, and a catalyst pulse as well. I don't know if I click on that if it will stay open in through here. Now you'll see that there's certain things. We'll get into this when we get into fighting, but there's it's very simple the way it does actually work. You've got like a cooldown at the top there of 3 turns. It is a laser. It deals 4 damage. Okay, and it's a precision weapon which allows you to precisely target an element on the enemy ship when you're attacking it, and it takes 3 combat units, whatever that might actually be. So you've got 2 of those, and then you've got a catalyst pulse in through here, which is also a precision attack. There are some that are just more varied attacks, sort of attacking across the hull of the enemy ship. All sorts of different things that do come in, and it's sort of one of these games where, as you play it, you get quite involved in what cards deck you're going to be able to then sort of make use of. Not that you really get rid of cards as such, but you build things as you go, which is quite interesting. So that's the first one. I'll just go and ditch that one if I click back out through there. Okay, if we go to next in through this other side, you'll notice that these are now locked because I haven't gone through with these. So this is the Marauder. Reach the first system boss with the Arbalist to unlock. So we need to use the Arbalist to unlock that one. There's a few of them through here. Enter the second system with the Marauder to unlock the Lancer. And so these are all the different sorts of ships. Now I can sort of just rotate around these, have a bit of a look at them, get a bit of a feel. This one's got a railgun, for example, with different types of weapons. You'll notice that there's different loadouts for each of these as well. Like if we just go, there's only a handful of these ships anyway, but if we sort of just keep on scrolling back through, you'll sort of see that there's different variances as we go back through. The Arbalist is back down to the start through here again. So this is our start ship. All right, so that's our loadout. This is our main weapon. We have another weapon mount in through here, and we have an AI gunner in control of this one. We've got Ivan Branko is a level 0 gunner at this stage, so he can level up during the actual run that we do. And it is a run. It's like a procedurally generated galaxy that you then sort of have a run through with a crew and just sort of see how you go. So it's not like a game that you're going to be playing for weeks and weeks and weeks. You're going to be doing a run. They're very short battles, so it's one of these almost like a beer and pretzel style game when you actually do get into it. You've got a barrier shield as well, so this is actually our tactical officer, Rin Seidel, and so she's also level 0 at this stage. The crew are important, and I'll show that when we get into combat. And then we've also got Lena Starling, another tactical officer, back in through there. So there's 2 tactical officers and then a gunner back up the top through there. And Lena actually has got the reserve bay, and this again I'll show you the resource bay. Sorry, resources are important for being able to raise your shields and do all sorts of other different sorts of things. So there's only a handful of different units that you have to manage with your actual ship itself. So it's very, very simple the way it does work. In fact, there it is up through there. You've got ordnance at the top there. You've got energy back in through there, and you've got mass. Now you can see that we're getting, this is per turn. We're getting 3 ordnance per turn. We're getting 2 energy per turn, and we're getting 1 mass per turn. For us to upgrade the ship, we've got 125 credits or reactor power. At this point, we can invest that in different areas if we wanted to. So energy is used to sort of help with the barrier, and you can see there that the barrier, if I go and click on that one through there, each of these requires 1 mass and 3 energy to bring up a shield, which gives us 6 shields. You'll see, I should just do this in combat, I think it'll make more sense. So let's just go and click on next, and then I'll explain the rest of what we're sort of seeing on the actual screen itself. Oh, sorry, not next. Accept. Launch, 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 launch. Off you go. Bang, out we go. So this is the galaxy. Now the actual track through, sort of from what I've noticed, seems to always be fairly consistent. And we at one end we end up with the blockade, which is neutral, coming back in through this other side, and we end up at the other end with a boss combat. And you see disliked, which means that there's going to be combat. So when it says disliked, that's pretty much it. So, and then we have a series of different things on the other side through here. This is the Solarii, back up in this instance. We've got the Starkin, the Free Roamers, and the Deadweights. The Free Roamers are friendly with us. So anything that's yellow will be friendly because of the amount of how they do react to us. We've got the Starkin and the Deadweights, which are sort of in the middle, like they don't really, it could go either way. And over the course of our run, we will then be impacting their relationship with us. So it's quite interesting the way it does work. But the Solarii, in the tutorial, you come up against the Solarii. But the Solarii are more like an enemy. So if we have a look at, for example, at the space station, visiting a Solarii space station is disliked, and so that will lead to combat. If we go to we've got elite combat, but it's allied combat back in through here. They're allied with us, and so that's the Free Roamers back in through here. We have elite combat, which is neutral back in that instance, and so we don't know what we're going to be sort of getting. Could go either way. It's very interesting the way it does work. Those blue lines that we see through here doesn't cost us anything, but we have to keep on moving in a forward movement towards the boss combat. So that's actually how we get out of the system. That's the sector exit when we get out of there. But we have to go through this combat at the very, very end. So that's going to be a hard fight. So we need to make sure that by the time we get there, our ship is still fairly cohesive. So that's sort of how the 4 different factions work in the game. And we now just have to sort of try to plot our way through. We can, if we wanted to, deviate off this because we don't know. These are all unknown, and they will then show themselves. Like we may sort of think, okay, well, look, there's a neutral and then a friendly space station. It's often a yellow, but it may be something that we end up going back through. So that's just a fully neutral space station. So we may decide, okay, look, let's just see what happens when we get in around here somewhere. Just gauge what's going to happen, and maybe then go through to this allied space station and just sort of make repairs, whatever else it might actually be in through there. Or we might go this way and try to sort of come up this side. But when we go on the yellow ones, we can go backwards in the yellow if we want to. And it's going to cost us fuel. So this is the fuel in through here. We've got 4 of those at the start. If I just go and open this one up, this is, again, the ship. So we've got 4 fuel back in through here. We do actually have the 75 in this other, like credits, essentially. Actually, that's what we have. And so that's what we have to then spend. I think in through here, I don't think I can actually do anything else in here. If I go back into energy, I can't do much there just yet. So I think at a space station we can then go and look at trying to fix these up. But we want to get credits to be able to interact with the actual galaxy itself. This is our command points, which are the crew members. And so the crew members add to what we can then go and do. And then this is the hull. Our hull has, we've got 50 hull points. If they get dissipated to 0, basically the ship blows up and that's the end of the game, end of the run. We do actually have some extra things. I've got hot reload. So every 6th attack returns to your draw pile instead of going onto cooldown. So every time we have a 6th attack, and this is different. Like this is the first time I've seen this, but this means that when we actually play the 6th attack, we then get those cards straight back in again. So we should be mindful of that. And so this is one of these games. Again, it's easy to play, but difficult to master. So we won't worry about we've got nothing in the cargo bay. We'll pick up loot as we go. Let's just go and fold that one all back up again. And so all we can really do is just go to this first one, this neutral blockade. So let's just go and see what actually happens in through here. So busy with trying to prevent civilians from fleeing the system, only a security drone has noticed our approach. It's heading our way on an intercept course. Prepare for combat. Now this is the Starkin, and they're sort of at 4, but we've got no choice with this. So we're just going to prepare for combat in here. And every time you play it, that layout, by the way, for the galaxy will be randomized. So this is basic combat. This really won't be this shouldn't be really a big problem for us. They've only got 25 hull points, as you can see through here. We have to try to really protect our 50. We're going to need to get all the way through pretty much with that. So we have to be very, very mindful of what's going on. When we look at the cards they've got a pulse laser which will do 4 damage, and it's a precision weapon. So they will target one of our mounts. Like we've got different mounts in through there. They've got that's their laser in through there, and that's their shield pulse in the front through there. Now, each of these have also then got the actual like a protection amount, and so the pulse laser has got a protection amount of 12. So we could use precision. All of ours are precision actually, so we can actually sort of go and do extra damage as we go through this, like to actually then try to take out their laser or to take out their shield, so we can sort of get their shield to drop. At the moment, they don't have any shields up. We don't have any shields up. So what we've gotten through here is there's a cooldown. You can see, I'll just hover under it. There's 2 little pips underneath that one, 3 little pips underneath that one. So they can't fire at us next turn. It will then go and load up, and then it'll take 2 more turns for the shield pulse to load up. So we've got 2 turns to do something. The first turn we can do whatever we want to do, and so be it. And so because they're not going to be able to fire back initially. It's a fairly simple system, but it does get more and more complex as we hit more and more difficult ships. Back up through here, we have a heat. Now this is the actual heat on the ship. So this is they've got 0 or 4. Once you actually get over your limit of like 4, it will then take 1 extra damage per turn that it's over the limit, and it will then dissipate 1 heat per turn. Is the way that actually does work. So that little symbol there is per turn. Back and through that other side. Down the bottom through here, we have the end turn button in through there, but we also then have crew members. And so I can overload different things. For example, if I use, forget his name again, someone Brachia, Ivan or something. Anyway, if we use the gunner, so next attack played this turn deals plus 50% damage. So we can get a free hit essentially right now with him, and it's going to chew up 5 of our, down through here we actually have the command points. We do actually only have 5 command points at this point in time. And so we can use up all 5 of those points, and then there'll be a cooldown of 4 turns before he can then do this one again. We also have the AI in through here, which we can't do the overload for, so we can't select that one. Emergency shielding, so gain 4 shield points back and through here as well, 6 turns for cooldown. And we can gain 2 of each resource in through here by using this one and using up 4. Let's go and use him, and just so we can do as much damage as we can initially. Let's have a quick look at our weapons before we do it though. We've got Catalyst Pulse in through here, deal 4 damage. All pulse cards played this turn deal plus 1 damage. Now the pulse, like by playing this one, we've got 4 of the actual energy. This one requires 2 energy and 3. I can't, unfortunately, I don't have quite enough to play out what I need to play. I need 6 to be able to play a pulse laser, so I can't play a pulse laser this turn. But yeah, which is a shame. We've got conservation in through here, so this is the resource bay. Gain 1 extra energy for every 2 combat points. I forget what they're called. Ordnance points. So for every 2 points, you spend this turn only. So I don't think I'm going to worry too much about that. I think I'll keep the Catalyst Pulse for the next turn. We get plus 3 per turn, unfortunately, so we're not getting any extra. I could keep it, and then we end up with 8 and 6. Not that it matters that much. And then the mass back and through here, we don't have to really worry too much about either. If I keep it, the next one that they're going to be playing is going to be like, they're going to be doing some damage. So maybe I will actually use a laser pulse. That's just 4 damage. So let's go and use one of these. And so when I click on it, I then select what I want to target, like either, either one of these. Let's go and start to try to take out the pulse laser. So we'll fire at this one. And we've just did 4 damage to it. So, and that just... So it's going to be usable still by the enemy. We've got nothing else we can do. That's now 1 attack. So every 6 attack returns your draw to the pile. So we'll actually just leave that one alone. We'll end our turn there. Next pip. This one's now charged and ready to fire. So we now have a barrier. Now this one's going to do 4 damage. If we put the barrier up, we're going to get 6 shielding. So we probably want to use that. That's now 3 and 1. So we're going to be using 3 of our energy, 1 of our mass. So I think we'll actually play that just so that we don't lose any of the points. So let's just go and play that one now on our own ship. So we've now got the barrier up. We can sort of rotate the ship to have a bit of a look at it, but it really is just almost like an FTL sort of style thing where things actually do happen. And now we've got 5 again. I'm thinking of just using this yet again. It's still, we are doing damage in here as well. Like when we do these hits, it's still coming off their hull as well. So let's hit the laser pulse yet again. We've now got 6 shield points, and they're not going to be able to get through the 6 in one go. So let's just use this one here again on the laser. Again, I can just target the cards if I like. They're down to 4 now. Okay, so we now just end our turn again. So they've now hit our shield. Our shield actually went down to 1. I didn't see what actually happened through there. You can look at the history. So laser pulse, that's our history. Not sure where theirs actually is. Oh, this is a laser pulse as well. I'm not sure how they got through theirs. But anyway, we've still got 1 more shield left, so we've still got all of our hull points. We can only have up to 3 heat points in through here. They're down to 17 now. Right, so back in through here, I can get another barrier up, but it won't really matter that much. Conservation. Yeah, so this is only this turn. I think I'm going to use the Catalyst Pulse in this instance to deal 4 damage. Or pulse cards, yeah. So it's a bit of a waste, but let's just go and do it and knock out their weapon. So that's been knocked out for 3 turns, and then it will be repaired, and then they'll then come back. So it's pretty cool the way it does work. Like that's now been sort of knocked out of the side. It looks great, the game. Like it's very simple, but it really does feel good. Let's just go and end our turn here. They're down to 13. They've put a shield up. So they've now got a shield of 4. We've got a pulse laser that's now come back in again, and we've got the 5 in through there. So we're not really gaining much with what we're doing in here. We can take off one and add it to other things as well. Like I can actually right click on something and then left click on here. So if I wanted to say, for example, get rid of, if I'm happy with the mass I've got, I can right click on that one and get 0 per turn and get +4 ordnance. Let's do that. I don't think we're going to need it, but let's just do it. And let's go and use our the overload cannons at this instance, and we'll just go after the pulse. So just so you get a bit of a feel for what does go on. So this is now in play, the overload cannons, get the pulse laser, and I probably should have saved that for another turn, but anyway, if I just go across, I can still hit that one, but I will actually just hit the shield pulse. So it's knocked their shields off. They're still down to 11. Nothing else I can really do through here. I do actually have this barrier that I can make use of. I might as well throw it on there. And then when I end the turn, any cards that are available, we can actually look and see what the cards actually are. That's the draw pile. We've got nothing left in the draw pile at this stage. That will come back with after the cooldown. So we're going to get another laser pulse next turn and another barrier next turn. So so that's sort of what we're going to see in the actual in the card deck in through there. So cards coming off cooldown next turn, 2 of them, and then there's a cooldown pile of 5. So that's the way that the cards work. It's very simple. You can see there we've got extra heat now that came in after that last attack. Just end our turn. They're still repairing. They're down to 11. So we now actually have the laser pulse yet again. I'm just going to go and hit that one on that one there. It's down to 4. All right, they're going to be repairing this laser next turn, but they're down to 7 now. So we now just end our turn yet again. It's not really worth us doing too much else here, I don't think, although we could just gain the 6. That way we're just fully protected. We're up to 9 now. We're going to be able to deal with any attack that does come in. There we go. They've now just repaired their laser. But they're down to 7, so they're sort of they're struggling a little bit. They can actually play the shield pulse next turn. We've got the catalyst pulse back into here. Let's just go and play that, and we'll play that in here. I think let's knock their shields off. So they're not going to be able to do that. They're still 1 turn away before using the laser pulse, and we should actually have them destroyed by then. They're now ready to fire. They've only got 3 left, so we'll now just use a laser pulse back in through here, and that was our 6th turn actually, so we got the other one back straight away without any sort of cooldown. So we'll just knock that one off, and that's now the ship blown up. So that's how combat works. It's quite simple in terms of the mechanics, but there is some nuance as you get into the game. So with that one, we gain 27 credits in here. So we'll just grab that one. And we also now get to choose a card. This is probably one of the main aspects of the game as to how you approach it. You'll be able to then have a bit of a choice. So we can see through under that line, we've got another catalyst pulse, and we've got a quick pulse in through here as well. This one deals 3 damage, so it's only a short one, minus -1 cooldown for the next attack played this turn. And so it's a precision one, and it only requires 2 of the actual ordnance. So that's actually not a bad one, actually. So that one's pretty good. We've got a charged barrier in through here where we gain 6 shielding, and we get one. It says 1 turn. I'm not exactly sure how that one works. A shield duration prevents shield points from halving on turn start. Counts it for every turn, so it does actually keep the shields up for a longer period. We've got surge. If unshielded, so that's actually not a bad one either. And then we have blueprint back in through here. Draw 2 resource bay cards. All resource bay cards cost 1 less this turn. We're not really using the resource bay much at all at this stage. It's too early for that one, so I'm not going to worry about those. I think I'm going to choose this quick pulse because we can then add that in and do different things with it. So that's what we got. Sometimes you get equipment, all sorts of different things will then come with it. So we now are here. And so we've now sort of gone past that first barrier. We're at the first barrier, and we haven't lost any points at this instance. So sector gateway, which is neutral. Just move across. So after we breach the blockade, multiple ships try to make a run and exit the system. As we mix in, the group of civilian ships, the Stark and gunships, break off pursuit and focus on keeping the fleeing ships in. All right, so that's actually what's sort of happening. So Rin has then sort of said, incoming message request, Captain. It's impossible to isolate the source with so many ships grouped together. So unknown contact. Greetings, Captain. Impressive skills you've got there. I could use the services of a bold freelancer such as yourself. I'm a data broker by trade, willing to offer a generous reward in exchange for some valuable intel. And so I need to gather data on the most powerful gunships in the sector. All you need to do is to send your combat logs to the specified coordinates after fighting 2 elite ships, and I'll transfer 150 on delivery. So this is actually a little side mission that we've now been given if we want it. So... and what do we have to do? Okay, and Captain, pick a weapon from my reserves. While you're at it, you'll need all the firepower you can get. Consider an investment in our future. So we get to choose a weapon in through here. So we can now fill out our second slot. So you can press tab on your keyboard to freeze the equipment user interface. You hover over and inspect the cards. So that's basically telling us, I think, to take the Iron Cannon Mark 1 or the missile rack. I think I'll take the Iron Cannon. So a few moments later, a transport container emerges from somewhere. That was to hold this down to see what we actually had. We could have done that at that stage, I think. A few moments later, a transport container emerges from somewhere in the group of ships headed for your location. You pry it open in the cargo bay after a security scan and pick up its contents. Have your crew install the weapon and proceed. So now we get to put this weapon in our ship. So when we go and open the ship up, We now actually have the iron cannon already now installed. And that's going to give us 2 more cards. So we can actually have a look and see what these cards are. So deal 6 sort of shock damage, I guess, on shield break and add 6 iron eyes. So this is going to do a different sort of attack. And if we hover over that one again, we can then sort of see that iron damage only damages shields. Hull damage is converted to iron eyes. So every 6 iron eyes on enemy, remove 1 pips from a random action, and on player, disables 1 random resource production. So that's going to be sort of where we are through there. Now, we've still got what we started the combat with 3-2-1. Like, remember how we changed the mass and then moved it up into ordnance? We've still got that going at this point in time. We now have 102, and we can now go and build something else into here. And I'm thinking we put it into ordnance at this point in time because the energy was okay where we actually were. So let's just go and we'll just go and get rid of that that there. So if we go into the ordnance and give it +1 capacity, and we now actually have a little bit extra capacity back and through there. We're still only getting the 3, but we've still now got a little bit more capacity in the ordnance side of things. We can just queue more up, I guess, with what it's sort of showing us there. Right, that was the first one. So we need to fight 2 elite enemies somewhere. Now, the next thing we actually have is we now are seeing a little bit more. I'm inclined to go this way, I think, and go past this neutral and just sort of see how we go. It's getting a little bit aggressive with the Starkin, but we'll see how we go. We do actually have a conflict zone, but it's a neutral conflict zone. We do have a waypoint, and these are just disliked. So let's maybe go to this one here. And I like how the universe is sort of rotating around as we do it. Yeah, Ivan Branko, I was right with the name. The ship's infrared sensors detect a large heat spike not too far out from our current position, possibly only a recent battle or a reactor malfunction. The coordinates have been added to the map. It's a conflict zone. That's a definite. This is an allied conflict zone. So let's maybe sort of work our way towards the center. That's the wreckage. Maybe we'll go there actually and use up 2 of our fuel to just see what we can pick up from there. So this is a disliked conflict zone. So traversing Solarii conflict zones is strictly prohibited. A patrol ship moves into to intercept. So we just now prepare for combat. So again, it's only 30 hull points. It's using a heavy barrage, okay, which does shredding damage. So hull damage is required to apply 1 shred. Every stack increased incoming minimum flak damage by 1. So every time they use this thing, it's going to hurt us. It's got 2 cooldown. They've got an opening shot in through here, which is just a flak gun. Deals 2 to 4 damage on hull damage. Apply shredding if enemy has none. So it will actually apply shred to it. This ship is sort of built to shred. Essentially, this little patrol ship. So we now have 5 again, which I can actually. I've got the iron spear. So iron damage only damages shields. Hull damage is converted to iron eyes. Give you 6 iron eyes on enemy roof, 1 pip from a random action. It's not going to really help us much at this point in time. We do have the barrier, which we could sort of throw up, gaining 6 shields, which will help us. I think we'll play that.
Shields up, Captain.
And we can really only play one of these or these. So let's just go and play the laser pulse at this stage. And we'll play it against the heavy barrage, I think. So a bit of damage there. They're down now to 26. We'll end our turn. Opening shot, we're down to 1 now. Actually, it does halve at the start of each turn. It went down to 2, then halved. That's actually why it was sort of only down to 1 last time as well. They can now use their heavy barrage. Now we have the quick pulse, and we also have an ion spear. Again, it's only dealing shield damage. Maybe I should have gone maybe with the missiles in hindsight. I think I've done the wrong thing there. I can right click to get rid of these so that and it doesn't cost me anything, so I can just get rid of them from what we're doing. We do actually have, with what we're seeing through here, I don't think I'm I need to do those. Let's just get rid of them. That way we're going to get extra cards coming in. We do have 2 more cards. I should have done that last turn. I can fire both of these. That's 4 and then 3. Not enough to actually finish that one off. Conservation. Yep, let's just keep on going with the laser pulse. And then the quick pulse. We're going to be suffering a bit in this next one. We're going to end up having some damage. Quick pulse, -1 cooldown for the next attack. I played this turn. I should have done that one first. So anyway, that's all we can do this turn. We're out of ordnance. Got rid of... Yeah, you now see we're down to 43 already. Which is not good. But we can actually now get rid of the heavy barrage. We've got a bit of time before we need to do that. We've got 3 turns. So this is the light barrage in through here is actually the problem. Let's put another barrier up. And the catalyst pulse, I'm going to actually just leave it. At least then we'll sort of be able to save ourselves a little bit from this other side. We do actually now have 1 shred value. Incoming minimum flak damage is increased by 1. Let's just see how we go. So we'll end our turn here. 2, and then we're down to 1 now, 1 shield point. And now we have the catalyst plus the quick pulse. But I sort of have to play that in one go. Or actually I'll do the catalyst plus the laser pulse. That's a flak reload at this stage. So it's reloading flak shells. So we'll use this one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to now play Ivan. So Ivan is now in play, which means that when we do this one, we're going to be doing extra damage. Let's go and hit the heavy barrage. They're down to 13. We now get to use the quick pulse is the only other one we can actually... No, the laser pulse we can use. Deals 5 damage now. All right, and that's pretty much all we can then do this turn. So we'll just end our turn there. So it's reloaded its shells. It's down to 8, so we now really are very, very close. We've only got 3 that we can do. We can only do 4 damage at this point in time. So I can't quite get through what I need to do. I can play another barrier though. Let's go and do that, just so that when the quick shot comes in, we can protect ourselves. We'll do a laser pulse. And it's down to 4, so we'll just end our turn in here. All right, so we're down to 2 now with our shielding. And really it's just now just doing 4 damage and then we win the fight. So let's just go and do that. Destroy. You can see how much more complex that actual combat was. There was more going on. So we now actually gain another 27, and we get salvage. An assortment of recovered still usable equipment and materials can be sold in stores or used in some event. So we'll just grab the salvage back in through there. We'll now then leave. And so that's now something we now actually have on our in our system. So Lena's saying, sir, I was able to patch up our hull a little with some of the salvage we took off that ship. 4 hull points were repaired. So we're still struggling. We're at 47 out of 50. It's not too bad. It's not too bad in through there. Now we wanted to go out to the wreckage. It's going to chop 1 of our fuel. So let's go and do that. So we're down to 3 fuel. The wreckage in front of us seems to be the source of a signal our sensors detected. The ship's reactor is close to a critical state and could explode at any time. No survivors detected on board. Do you want to move in closer to inspect the wreckage? So let's go and move in. So upon closer inspection, you see a piece of equipment that is still in working condition. It's risky, but we can attempt to salvage it before any other scavenger ships show up and the reactor goes critical. So we'll start that one there. And, this is not good. Let's see how we go. The ship approaches the wreckage without meeting any other scavenger ships. You deploy a salvage drone and move in to assess. You try to maneuver the salvage drone to get a good angle, but the gripper mechanism breaks off from the tension as it tries to dislodge the equipment from its hardpoint. Reactor coolant starts leaking from the wreckage. What do you want to do, Captain? Attempt the salvage. Let's still go with it. There's only a 25% chance of the wreck exploding. The gripper tool has a firm hold on the last attachment point of the equipment. You cautiously pull it to one side and it clicks open. The scavenger drone carefully removes its cargo from the wreckage and brings the equipment on board. Take the heavy blaster and blast off. Done. Right, so we now actually have a heavy blaster in here. So we've now got a different type of weapon. And so if we have a bit of a look at this one here, this one deals 4 damage. Your next laser attack cost is reduced by 5 this turn, and it's a precision weapon. And this one's a heavy blast. Now what we can do is we can get rid of the iron cannon, move that one in there, and bring the heavy blaster in. So let's go and swap those two over, because I think that's going to be more valuable. We can also upgrade these with different equipment. We've got 2 pips on the pulse laser and 1 on the heavy blaster. So we can find other equipment to help make these even better. So that's all good. So we've actually now got an even better weapon in through this other side now, with the heavy blast and the preheater. We'll have a look at that one. I think I'll just play one more battle and then we'll just go from there. You get the idea anyway of the game. It is fairly cool, like in terms of it doesn't take very long. Now to go back, we can go back and then go forward again, or whichever way we want to go, but we want to get on this blue line again. We've now used up 2 fuel to get back into here, this waypoint, which is then disliked. We're heading up towards a neutral space station through an unknown area. So let's just now zoom back in again. So you're hailed by a maintenance ship not too far away from your position. They offer to perform some repairs for a price. So 3 hull points repaired for 12. Agree and have them perform the repairs, or intimidate the ship into doing the repairs for free. I'm not going to worry too much about that. We're sort of, it's pretty cheap. So we'll actually go and allow them to do that one. That gets us back up to 50. So I'm actually happy with that. We then do have a conflict zone, but let's go to the Allied conflict zone in here. Okay, an Allied free roamer gunship has detected the presence of a hostile in your general area. As you're in direct firing range, you're being asked to engage the enemy ship. The Allied gunship will provide long-distance fire support. So we will actually go and do this one. So we're going to help out our ally, the free roamers. So we'll go and do that one, and we'll see how we go. So you can see that we're slowly sort of as we proceed around this system, it's sort of things are sort of working out fairly well. Again, it's only got 25. It does actually have a heavy blast, which you can use next turn, dealing 10 damage. Wow. What's it got? It's got 15 in there too, which is hard. That's a hard aspect for us. We can play our heavy blast, deal 10 damage. Yeah, we can only do 5 damage to that, but we do a lot of damage to the actual hull itself. It's 3 and 3. Again, we just don't have quite enough coming in here. Getting +3 per turn. Boy, oh boy. Which way should we go with this? I can only put up 1 barrier as well. So I can get 6 shielding. Let's do that. And really now all we can do is do the pulse blast here. Let's just go after the heavy blast. Okay, so it's going to do 10 damage. It's going to hurt. So we'll end our turn. So we're down to 46. Now it's got a 3-turn cooldown now with what's actually coming through. We've got 5 in through here. We've got a heavy blast dealing 10 damage. Well, let's go and do it. Let's go and apply it.
Enemy shields down.
Okay, their shields are down. They're down to 15 now. Nothing else we can do this turn, so we'll end our turn. We've got 2 more turns before we have to really do anything here. Their shields are back up again. So they've got 4 shielding. And there's now a missile to deal 6 damage. Yeah, removed from battle once. This is actually being played against them from the ally that we've got. So they're coming in and doing 6 damage with that. The heavy blast. Now we've got we do actually now have only 3. We can only play 1 of these. So the preheater, deal 4 damage, and your next laser attack is reduced by 5 this turn. Okay, so we can actually go and play that one.
Enemy shields down.
The shields are down, and we can still play the laser pulse and deal another 4. Okay, that's helpful. And these are now going to hit. They've done 6 damage. They're down to 3. So we now have 3 points. I can only really play one of these. We've got 5 points left to go and get. We can knock that out, the heavy blast now before it gets to fire. So let's go and do that. It's down to 1 point, and we can't do anything else this turn. All they can do is put up shielding. So the catalyst is going to be another 3. That'll do 4 damage. They've got 4 there. It's not going to do much. So I'm better off just letting things go. I think what I'll do is I'll get rid of conservation, and I'll get rid of one of the barriers. And let's just let it roll for a turn. We'll just end our turn in here. I should have played Ivan again. Shield pulse is now up to 6. But we now have, and they've now launched a missile, which will then hit them in 3. This has now still got one more turn before it becomes usable again. So if I go with Ivan, and then we're going to use the catalyst pulse, so it deals 6 damage, which will then take down the shield. So the shield is now down, and we now actually can use the laser pulse in through here and deal 5 damage, which will then destroy the ship. There we are. So we lost 4 hull points. We gained 28, and we add another card. So what do we want? We've got booster pulses. Let's actually have a look at some of these other things we've got. So shield, if unshielded, gain 4 shield. Otherwise, gain 1, an extra turn cooldown shield duration. Charge barrier. I think we'll actually grab this one here. I think that could be fairly useful. You can see there we've got the heavy blaster now is coming back in as well. Energy surge, gain 4. Yeah, let's just use this charge barrier, I think. Okay, we'll continue there. And the next one we've got is actually a neutral space station. So let's actually just go and show you what that looks like, and we'll then just go into that one through there. We've only got 45, so we can't really do anything with the ship. We've actually picked up another fuel, which is good. I didn't know that fuel came back, actually. I don't know if it does. Let's just see what happens. No, we're still on 3. Oh, we went back onto blue, so I think that's why it didn't cost us anything. So Stark and station up ahead, Captain, ready to dock on your word. So dock with the station. So what do you wish to do at the station? We enter the hangar. We can buy 1 fuel for 50. We've only got 45, so we can't do that one. Crew activities, ship and equipment maintenance, or depart the station. So if we enter the hangar, we can then actually sort of have a look at what we can actually do in through here. Now we can actually sell off that iron cannon for 50. So I think we'll sell it, because we don't have any real use for it. There it goes. And we've got 35 in salvage as well. So let's go and get rid of that as well. We'll sell that one. That gets us up to 130, which does allow us to then start to boost other things. This is reactor power. If we go and hit the reactor power up, let's go and get an extra reactor power, which means that we should, I think, have extra stuff we can then do in here. I think, yeah, we can get the 4 now. 4 ordnance, 2 energy. Let's just try that and see how we go by getting that extra reactor power with what we then just did. So this allows us then to do different things. If we just now go and leave, we've got the repairs. So we've only got 5 left over. We can repair 2 for 5. Let's just go and do it. So we're up to 48. Nothing much else we can do there. We'll just leave that one through there. I don't know who that character is there. Was it Mickey 17? Have you seen the shorts for that? Looks really good fun, actually. It's I sort of saw it there and thought, I wonder what that is. It was like a movie coming out, I think, in January. Yeah, anyway, I won't talk about it. But we can also then go to crew activities. So select the activity you want to perform. Head over to the station bar and unwind. So +2 morale for the next 3 nodes. Why not? Let's just go and do that one. And we now can go and go ship and equipment maintenance if we wanted to check out what that one actually is as well. Remove a card for 50. Do we want to remove a card? We can add a card for 30, which we don't have. We've only got 1. Uninstall AI core. Removes AI crew member. Grants AI core item. Yeah, I won't do that. Anyway, let's just leave that one where that is. So we've got the... I think I'll just leave that one where it is, but you can see there's a lot we can do through here. We'll just depart the station now. But from there, we then just continue on. Now, we've only got the 3 fuel. I didn't buy any extra fuel while I was there. Then we've got a disliked waypoint at this point in time. We just continue on around the loop until we sort of hit the exit. So I won't keep on playing. I think this gives you a bit of a feel for the actual game itself. It's a pretty cool little, as I said before, a bit of a beer and pretzels game. It certainly has that FTL vibe, but without without being chased through space. And I quite like it. I quite like that if I wanted to, if I had the fuel, I could actually go backwards and even head across to this elite combat in through here. I can't go from there back, but I can take the yellow and use 2 of my fuel to, for example, get on this inside run and then see how things go. So there's a bit of strategy involved in what's coming up as well, which, again, I really do quite like the way that the game does this. We can bypass other certain sorts of conflict. We did need to do some elite... we haven't fought any elite enemies at this point in time, so we're not really sort of getting much else. We do actually have a high spirit, so +2 crew morale for the next 2 combats, so the two next missions that we then go to. But anyway, I will leave it there. Hope you enjoyed the video, and please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoy this sort of content. So this is Breachway from Hooded Horse. They've had some incredible games over the last couple of years, actually, in their stable of games. Not of horses, of games. Anyway, I'll leave it there. My name is DasTactic. Welcome to the channel, and I'll catch you next time.